5:30 p.m. First, we'll have roll call. McConnell,
Present.
Minkies,
Yeah.
Nichols,
I'm sure she'll be here,
Mm.
but
Seaberger,
I'm here.
Townsend, present. Okay. Next, we have item number 2, report from nominating committee. I communicated with 2 individuals. Amanda Nichols agreed to be our new chairperson, and Teresa Seaberger agreed to be our new vice chairperson. So that would be the recommendations from the nominating committee. And I guess next thing we would do is we would ask if there are any nominations.
Nope. Item number 3, Orville,
Okay.
next page.
Okay, item number 3, set method of voting. As the bylaws do not prescribe the method of voting, the board will need to make a motion to fix the method of voting. Nominations can be made by balloting or from the floor. Voting can be by voice vote, show of hands, or ballot. The board should decide if the basis for a decision is majority vote of the total membership and procedure for canvassing the ballots.
2.
Okay. Step 2, consider motion to fix method of voting to be set by. And I guess basically we have to decide what method we want to use. I would suggest that we use the voice vote. Does anyone else have any?
Is that a motion then, Orville?
Yeah,
You
I make the
to
motion
do a
that we
voice,
use a voice vote.
and you need a second?
Can we get a second for that?
I'll second it.
Okay. Staff, can you give us a roll call?
McConnell?
Here.
Oh.
We're voting for the method.
Yeah. Yes or no for the,
Okay.
to
Yes.
fix the, okay.
Yes.
All right. Meekes?
Yes.
Seaberger? Townsend?
Yes. Okay. Motion carries. So we will use voice vote as our vehicle. Nominations for the office of chairperson. Amanda had agreed to serve in that capacity. She's not here now. Well, she's coming in.
May I make a motion, to vote to accept the recommendation of the committee?
I think,
Can we do that?
We can, but we need to do the chairperson first.
Okay.
And then the vice chair. So you can make a motion to
Okay.
nominate whoever for chair.
I move to accept the recommendation of the committee for chair.
been moved. I'll second that. Moved by Meekes and second by Townsend. Okay. Vote, see, I guess basically at some point, do we get to see if there are any other recommendations?
Well, there wasn't a motion for anybody else.
Okay,
So anybody could have motioned to have somebody else.
okay.
You guys voted
So-
yes.
Are there other motions to be considered? Okay, if none, then we will go with the motion.
All those in favor, yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, the motion carries.
Chair is Amanda.
Okay, and at this point, we
Aye.
have our new chairperson, Amanda Nichols. Congratulations, Amanda. And with that, we turn the meeting over to you.
Oh, like right off the bat, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Is it effective immediately?
I assumed it was going to be the next meeting.
And then here,
With the pass of a document.
Okay,
and then,
okay, thank you, that's helpful. Do we have any nominations for vice chairperson?
I move to accept the recommendation of the committee for vice chairperson.
Which was me for your
Would be Teresa,
information.
and I second that for Teresa to be our vice chair. So it's a motion by Meekes and second by Townsend.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
Yeah.
So that's done. Then we're on to motion to adopt the consent calendar as presented.
I'll move.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, board discussion.
you're okay.
Okay. Is there any board discussion for the consent calendar? Quick. I would actually like to add for the next meeting as new business, if we're not, it might be too late, it might happen between now and then, but if it does not, if the city does not make their final decisions on the ARP funding, they had requested boards provide
Amanda,
input.
That would be during the board discussion.
Isn't that,
Is when you can ask for something to be added to the agenda for the next meeting.
I thought we were on to board discussion now, 'cause we
I
just,
think, no, item number 10.
step one, step two.
Board information. Is that what you're referring to, Chris? Number 10?
Yeah.
The board discussion was about the motion to consider.
Consent calendar.
Okay.
I can, I don't know. I don't know if you, oh, she gave it to you. You've got
Yeah.
it there. Okay.
So we're on item number 6.
Yeah, but we just did this.
Item number 6. There was a motion made to adopt. There should be a discussion about the motion. There is no discussion.
Okay, I thought board discussion was where you said,
There is an item that's just board discussion, but this is the item that's the consent calendar.
okay,
So then you did the motion, then you would have a discussion about the motion if anybody had anything.
oh, number 10, okay, thank you.
Items only
Okay.
on the consent calendar.
Is there any discussion regarding the consent calendar? Okay, then can we get a roll call, please? On,
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
you already did.
that was what we
Yeah,
just,
so you're
okay,
good on that.
that's canceled.
Yeah, it worked.
Old business, we have the recommendations to the city council. We had the updated table
We're
in our
on new
meeting
business.
packet. What?
New business.
Yeah.
Oh, it was crossed out.
Yeah, but go ahead and just
Oh, okay.
read that, you know.
So the new business meeting with law enforcement liaison was canceled due to a scheduling conflict. That'll be rescheduled. Then old business, we had our updated table in the meeting packet. They were requesting additional information on numbers 9 and 10. Do have proposed budget. It does not include the social worker because we haven't really been able to get anywhere on that. Thanks. Do you want us to take a look at that and we can discuss if anybody doesn't like any part of it or wants to make any changes or additions?
I just going to confirm that I was correct. As far as the signs on buses, I believe, Chris, that when we talked about this a couple meetings ago, you said it wouldn't be a cost that,
Well, it would just be the printing and the
Right.
paper.
okay,
So we could do it here in-house at the city.
right, and that's what but
Yeah.
is it still technically a cost? to
Yes,
be-
because
okay,
we're charged by copies,
Okay,
and then to purchase the paper, I'd have to purchase the paper.
Okay.
And we usually use a card stock paper for flyers.
okay.
Okay, so we will need to add that in then, because I have that listed as 0 right now, so we'll need to get, I guess,
I gave you the cost,
for the flyers and the brochures,
right.
she's talking about signs on the buses at the very top, when you ride a
Oh,
bus,
I don't
there's.
even know if you mean the advertisement ones?
Well, right, because I see on the city buses, sometimes I've seen some of the Iowa City human rights.
Right,
Like,
they
you wanna
have
make-
where we put like a card stock, 8.5 by 11.
Right.
We do that for like our forum and different things. And they have like a slot, you just slide it in.
Right.
It's like a sleeve that's,
Exactly.
Okay, so it would be the
So
same,
that's-
the same cost as, okay.
that what the flyers
Okay,
are.
then we can just cross that whole line off then.
Yeah, so that includes all that.
Okay, I thought that it might be a different cost since it would possibly be a different kind of paper or something. but-
I had a question about the $1,400 for the Daily Hour and front page banner, 2 days per forum. I'm kind of a stingy person, and it just seems like a lot of money.
I was very surprised that daily Iowan ads are significantly more expensive than Press Citizen. I would have expected it to be the other way around.
Yeah, I think we need to get the information out, but, I think we ought to consider being cost-effective, and that may be an effective way to do it, but if there's any other way that's going to be less expensive, I recommend that we take a look at it.
Maybe you want to cut it down to 1 day per forum? Or take it out altogether? What do you think?
Well, this is a banner, an advertisement that's, where is this going to be placed, I guess?
Those ones are on, it's like about this big at the bottom of the front page of the paper. But their smaller ads were not a whole lot better.
Yeah.
It was a huge difference between the two papers. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I would just say, for that kind of money and exactly the guarantees it gives, I guess I would have trouble voting for it, but I'm not going to say we shouldn't do it.
So what would the frequency be, just?
At this cost, it's, so for 2 days before each forum, so we've got 2 forums, so that is the estimate for 4 of those front page banner ads
Okay.
for the whole year.
And maybe it's one of those things, we just have to bite the bullet and do it and see what kind of, rewards it gives us, so. I'm a little torn about it, but I just thought I would share yeah.
I agree with Orville for a number of reasons, but I would think that the Daily Iowan would also feel an obligation to the community to do it for free. These are normal things that newspapers do, and I think the cost is excessive for what it does. They could easily write an editorial. They could easily endorse that. There's plenty of opportunity for a newspaper. I was on a newspaper at one time. I know we were doing that kind of stuff. They have a community obligation, and I think it's really excessive.
We could prepare a press release and submit it to them.
Yeah, it was a press release, and they could do it on their own with an editorial.
Right.
And take the Daily Iowan off, then what about the Press Citizen? That one's a lot cheaper. That one's a lot cheaper. Do we want to leave that one on, or?
Yeah, I can live with that one.
At least there's 5 days per forum,
Okay.
more cost effective.
Thoughts on that?
Yeah,
Yeah, the press citizens, you know, seems to be reasonable.
You know, from a philosophical point of view, we had to inform people, not to promote complaints. So, you know, there's a fine line here that we may be crossing, where we want people to know where to go if they have a complaint, but not, you know, to promote complaints.
These are for the forums, for the community, this is for the community forums.
Yeah. So, but, you know, I'll agree with the excessive expenditures for now. You know, the philosophical part, I'll gulp.
But yeah, we took the Daily Iowan off, so it's just the press citizen we're talking about now.
So most of these costs are related to the form, except like the business cards, you know, that's just a,
And then the accessibility stuff.
yeah.
Amanda, you didn't have, the Iowa City Library is where the board has done the last 2 or 3 forums prior
okay.
to. So, and that is no cost.
Right.
Okay, so we take
So I
that.
wouldn't throw that off the table as an option.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So then we can take the, are they doing events,
I don't know.
reservation events there again yet?
I don't know, yeah. if
They
it-
are.
They are? Okay. So we can take the Robert A. Lee off there too
Yeah,
then.
that would save you some money.
And the very last one, the live stream meetings at $2,423. What's, you know, what is that, and what kind of impact or effect are we expecting to get from that?
Really, largely accessibility. I've been very disappointed with not just Iowa City, but a lot of cities around the corridor. We gained a lot of accessibility during the pandemic for people with disabilities who cannot leave their house, who want to participate in community meetings, people with kids, transportation barriers, all of those things. Iowa City actually, you know, we have to have meetings in person now. But we could do hybrid meetings. And I found it really interesting that Iowa City dropped the Zoom accessibility a matter of weeks before they made a declaration related to the American Disability Act Day. Just seemed off.
Opposition.
But yeah, I think that everybody in the community should be able to participate in these types of meetings, regardless of what kind of transportation barriers they may have. It's exclusionary to only have them available if you can make it to a physical location.
This would be on the city communication system.
Yes. They'd basically be having the Zoom meetings like we were before with the in-person meetings that people can still call in, which I know that the Johnson County supervisors are doing that. They're having hybrid meetings. And then they would live stream on Facebook like the city council meetings do through the city website or city Facebook account.
Does city council have hybrid? Not anymore?
No.
Okay, wow, interesting. Okay.
I'm gonna be tackling that one separately outside of CPRB
Right.
stuff.
So will this be amended again once you settle on what to do with the social worker?
I imagine, I mean, I think that we're kind of at a point where we've agreed we need to get something submitted. So I think we need to vote on what we have now and go ahead and get it submitted. And if we are able to find something down the road, then we could submit it in a request to add to our budget.
And if we're going to keep the social worker, I think we ought to have a little more in-depth discussion on it so that we can arrive at a final decision, because, that kind of throws me off, because I'm kind of person, something has to be set, you gotta have a normal pattern. And the social worker, I can see the benefits of it, but I can't see when we will need it, where we would place that person. So, if we can take a look at arriving at some type of set pattern or cost for that, I feel a little more comfortable.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't been able to get enough information out of anyone to do anything with that at this point. I feel like I'm still reaching out and having communications with a couple of different places, but I feel like it might be best to just kind of table that for now. And if I get anything that sounds doable, then I can bring it back here at a later time, and then we can always submit a request to City Council to add to our budget.
What I
once we
would,
have more
what I
solidified
would
information.
recommend and feel comfortable with is that I think it's a good idea, but since it's just kind of up in the air and we can't get any pattern for it, it's like when I was talking to my person, it was the same thing, but the person indicated that they would be willing to have someone for consultation, anytime we needed them to discuss that and get information. So maybe we ought to look at that with the social worker, talk to the college or whatever source is going to provide it, and see, could we possibly have someone just be assigned that if we needed information or something like that.
I think whatever you submit to the council should include that as a line item, even if the number's blank.
Okay.
So they know that it's still, being considered.
Okay, that makes sense. So then, I'm gonna motion to approve the budget as amended with the Daily Iowan and the Robert A. Lee Social Hall taken off, and a line item added for a social worker but left blank, and then the adjusted total.
I had one other question, I guess, sorry. What is anticipated to happen at the Mercer Park Shelter?
Do we want to do them both in the library? We had talked previously about having one indoor
I
and one
think the
outdoor.
forum.
The
Oh, one of the
forums, because we were
forums.
going to do two
Yeah.
forums. We had previously discussed having one indoors and one outdoors, but we could take that off too if we want to do them both at the library.
Yeah, I was going to say, we do outdoor, then we should have a secondary site in case of rain. So if we do it indoor, we don't have to worry about that.
Okay, so you can take that one off too then. So both of the locations. I'm going to repeat that then, since we just made another change. Motion to accept the budget as amended with the Daily Iowan, Robert A. Lee Social Hall, and Mercer Park Shelter removed, and a blank line item added for social worker, and the adjusted total.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. I'll get that typed back up and email it to you.
And then you'll want to make sure that you address it to the city council.
Okay.
Because that's where the letter's going to go. It can just
Okay.
be a memo or a letter.
Okay. And Teresa, just to ask you to report on placing CPRB flyers and brochures at the courthouse. Did you get any more information on that?
I did not get around to it, so I have my calendar. I apologize, and I'm going to write myself. I was looking for the email that I had sent to the, whatever you want to, the administrative assistant for the Board of Soups. I'm not finding it right off. I think I'd said last time, I wondered if it went to her junk mail, because she seemed very receptive when I met with her in person. And I emailed her per her request and never heard anything. So tomorrow I will touch base with her again. However, or in addition, I don't know if this was specifically talked about as far as an item, but I had been to the public defender's office, and I know they'll just take brochures, and I know that we've talked about you
I can get them to
you
you.
getting me some, that we can just leave with the staff at the public defenders, and, you know, as they feel, you know, if someone says, hey, I have a complaint, then they can say, okay, here's a brochure.
Okay, yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, so I don't know if we need any formal action on that, or, okay. See, I'll get brochures from Chris, and I'll just stop back down there again when I get them. That way they'll have them.
That's good. Thank you for taking care of that.
You're welcome.
Don't have any public.
Still have to, you still need to do the public comment. I've already-
Oh, okay. Do we have any public comment?
No public.
Okay, so this is where I was supposed to be. Sorry,
Visible man.
Just gotta check.
Proverbial.
Because we haven't started advertising.
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
exactly.
Does anybody else have any board information, anything they would like added to the next agenda?
Hold that thought for 1 second. I know I had something I'd written down, but if I can't find it the next minute, I mean, it's nothing urgent. Oh. Yeah, I did want to perhaps have a discussion at the next meeting. And this all relates, well, maybe, shoot. That, if, to talk about a recommendation to the Iowa City Police Department and City Council, that if Iowa City Police Department agrees to assist law enforcement agencies in the future, that perhaps they could secure an agreement or contract, which they probably have anyhow, that the other agency, hypothetically Benton County Sheriff's Department, just to say a name, that they would cooperate with any investigation that we conduct, noting that, you're acknowledging that we as the board do not have authority over other officers with other departments, but that it would be helpful to us, and if as.
You don't want to discuss it tonight, you want to add
Right,
something?
okay.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
just briefly, you know, what,
You get the gist?
Mhm.
Okay,
okay.
yeah. I'm trying to say it without talking about stuff.
And then I would like to add discussion of the ARP funding recommendation that was requested, if that has not been finally decided by the city yet, by our next meeting.
Oh, so, Chris, would it be, I guess, prudent for me to prepare some language and give it to you, and then you could pass it to the board to consider to discuss at the next meeting?
We're going to add it as new business,
Okay.
that a discussion on such and such. If you have something you want to share with the board prior to that, we will put it in their packet.
Okay,
So just get it to me the week before
Yep.
the meeting, and then it'll be like an informational packet for them to
Right.
be discussed.
okay, perfect, thank you.
Anybody else have anything?
I would just like to throw a suggestion out, and I think we come up with some good recommendations, but I think it also would be advantageous if, in doing so, we acknowledge that we are an advisory committee. You know, and the reason I say that is, you know, with what we're doing and the responsibilities we have, it's so easy to, you know, gravitate from advisory getting a little over-involved into the system. We talked about that before, but, I think we remain as an advisory committee, and I don't think we want to get into, too deep into the system, that can be counterproductive for us.
Well, I will say that being an advisory committee for policy, which is part of our charge, is one of the primary reasons that I joined this board.
And it necessitates us at least making suggestions. Obviously, city council and the chief would have I think, the last word, so, but just for us to present an idea.
Yeah. And I keep stressing that we're an advisory committee, and that can create roadblocks for us, but the good side of that is, I think our chief of police has continued to be very cooperative.
Oh, yeah, I
And
agree.
Do
readily.
you guys want to add this to new business next meeting? Because you're getting into a heavy
Okay.
discussion
discussion,
here.
yeah.
Okay.
It's not on the agenda, so this wasn't on the agenda.
Okay. You can, for board information for Townsend, you can put me down for that.
So the board agrees that you want to discuss this at the next meeting, or add it to new business?
Yeah, if one wants to do that.
I so move.
No, we can't move, we're just in information. We're not in the action. So the board, you agreed that you want that added to new business?
Sure, can't hurt. I mean, that's my
New
take.
business items. Got it.
Is there any staff information?
No.
Next 3 meetings are scheduled for November 9th, December 14th, and January 11th at 5:30. Do those dates work for everybody?
My wife is actually having surgery on the 9th, so I won't be able to make it, but I can see if somebody from my office can fill in for me.
Yeah, if you feel comfortable with having someone from the office.
Yeah, we've done that before, so.
Okay.
I mean, if the
Okay.
board is okay with that.
Sure. December 14th. I might not be able to make it December 14th, but I don't want it to stop anything, because I might be able to make it. I have a jury trial, but crossing my fingers it won't go. And it shouldn't.
Make a ship to shore call.
Ship to shore, yes. Down from Washington County.
Consider a motion to adjourn to executive session.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Resuming regular session at 7:29 PM. And I'm going to motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No debate.
Meeting, meeting adjourned.